everybody. So here is what we get to do this weekend. We've been talking about interest. So I told you that I would do the whole assignment with you. I won't necessarily give you answers at the end, but I'll walk you through each piece and what it looks like and how you can be successful doing it. So all of the questions are here, so if you don't have your math book, no big deal because I've got them all written down for you. But you do need to have a calculator in hand. So go grab an iPod, a phone, a real calculator, some kind of something that gives you the ability to calculate stuff. Right? So this first one, when I look at it, it says find the simple interest, then find the total principal plus interest. So there's two answers for every question here. So what I know, I'm just going to start with my formula. I know that simple interest, that's the party one. So simple interest means the principal times the rate times the time. And so when I look up here, my principal, oh, that's nice. It just gives me 200. My interest rate is 4%, but I can't use the 4. I've got to make that into a decimal first. So I'm really going to use 0.04. Then my time is 2 years. So I'm just going to take and put those in. So my interest equals my principal times my rate, 0.04, and then times my time, which is 2 years. So I just go through, you grab your calculator, and you say, okay, 200 times 0.04 times 2, got it, 16. So I go back in, and I say, let's see, my interest was $16. Am I done with the question? I am not, because it asked two things. It said find the simple interest, then find the total of principal plus interest. So what I have in the bank right now is the original 200 plus 16 gives me a total balance of $216. So two pieces to answer, the 216 and the regular 16, and there you've got it. So the next one, I'll help you set that one up. I'm not going to give you the specific number answers, but we'll go through and set it up. So my principal is 870. My interest rate, don't forget to use 0.03. Then 9 months. Well, that's a bit of a problem because my time is supposed to be in years, but I only have 9 months. So I'm going to multiply it by the 9 months, but then how many months are in a year? Good. I'm going to divide by 12. So 870 times 0.03 times 9 divided by 12. So go through and get an answer for that. That's going to be your interest. And then you not only have to find that, but once you find your interest, take whatever you got here, add it to your original, and that will give you your balance. So you're going to get two answers there, but I'm going to let you work that one out by yourself because I'm confident that you can. So if you need to pause right now, do that. I'm going to keep going on to the next one. This one, if I look at the directions for this one say find each balance. But the question is a little bit different because here it says compounded annually. So my formula changes for this one. So my basic formula is going to be my whole balance is going to equal my principal times 1 plus whatever my rate is. And towards the end of the day I was writing it as a funky R, and I'll show you why in a second. And then it's going to be to a power of how many times I've done something. So we're going to go through and pull it out each piece. This one right here stands for the original principal because when you compound things, the first year, I'm just going to do a quick explanation that I'll erase that isn't this question. If I had $100 in the bank at 10% interest, my first year I would earn $10, which means at the end of the year I would have $110. Nice. That means the second year I start with $110. If I take 10% of that, that's $11, so I'm making more money because my money made money last year. That means now in my bank account I have $121. So that's my second year. When I start my third year, I have $121, and then plus 10% of that is $12.10. So at the end of this year, I have $133.10. So compound interest grows faster because each year I start working off of the money I had plus the money I earned. So that makes a big difference in your answers when you compound it. So let's go through this one. It says compounded annually, which is really actually very nice. So my principal is right here. So I'm going to put my principal in at $495. Then I go in, I write my 1. That stands for the original $495. But then I have this rate. Now sometimes this rate, it's going to change. It won't always necessarily be what you see here. But this one says compounded annually. That means that it happens one time per year. Semi-annually on number 11, well, a semicircle, there's 2 semicircles that make up a whole circle. So semi-annually means it's 2 times every year. And then quarterly is 4 times every year. So this one just says annually. That means I don't have to tweak that 4%. So I can just do 0.04. Then it's 2 years, and because it only happens annually, I only have my, up here, it's a 2. So what you're going to do when you go in to that, you're going to add your 1 plus your 0.04 because you always do parentheses first. So when I pull up my calculator, what you put in is 1.04. Then we've got to do to the second power because in your order of operations, parentheses comes first, then exponents. On this calculator, see this x to the y, or y to the x button right here? That one? We're going to push that, and then since it's to the second power, we hit a 2. Now you could have used the x square button in that case, but usually you want to use that y to the x button. Hit equals, and I get 1.0816. Now I multiply that by the original 495. So times 495, and I get $535.39. Right. So I go in, my total $535.39. So this, when you do it compounding, you make more money off of your money. Number 11, let's see, I'm going to clear my ink. Let's go on to number 11. This one looks a little different. My principal, I put my principal, $15,600. So that's my principal. I'm just going to write that down so I can figure stuff out later. Then 3% compounded semi-annually. I'm going to show you something here because my rate equals 3%. The problem is it says semi-annually. So here's what happens. Here's my full year, and my full year is 3%. But if I do it semi-annually, that means I'm going to do this piece, and then I'm going to do this piece. So if I take that 3% and break it up into 2 pieces, what am I using for each piece? Yeah, half of 3 is 1.5. So instead of using the 3% in here, you're going to use 1.5% because you broke that 3% up into your 2 parts of the year. And then my time is 3 years, but the number of times that I actually compound it, well, 3 years times 2 times a year, that gives me 6. So if I plug all of this in over here, my principal is $15,600 times 1, can't just use the 0.15, 1.015. Check and see where that came from if you can't find it. My 1.5% moved my decimal. And then the number of times I do it is 6. So what we're going to do in our calculator You're going to put in the 1.015 to the 6th power. So here's what that looks like. 1.015 to the, we decided 6th power. You can hit equals, and it gives me 1.093443. Your calculator might give you a little longer number, a little less. It's really okay because we're estimating. So if it goes any further than that, it's not really helpful. Then I multiply that by my original, which was 15,600. Got it. So I come up with 17,057 and 71 cents. So $17,057.71. I'm not going to actually write that into mine. You can write that into yours. And I'm going to stop this video and I will do a second one for 12 through 14. But hopefully this has gotten you started. So why don't you try those other questions on your own and then come back and watch video number 2.